So I've seen in the news this morning that growth in the UK economy has slowed to 0.1% in the July to September period, official figures show, and that the figure was well below the 0.2% predicted by analysts, and this is considered to be something of a blow to Chancellor Rachel Reeves. And don't forget, we've got that budget to look forward to in a couple of weeks. This doesn't bode well. It's not good news for the UK economy. So why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about this on a car channel? Well, because the car industry has a significant role to play in that slump. How so? I'll explain right after this.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
So yes, as I mentioned, this is partly down to, as we already know all about, the shutdown at Jaguar Land Rover, which happened in September and went on for at least 5 weeks. And to be honest, really, it's taken them 2 months to sort of get back to normal after pretty much having to reboot and rebuild their digital systems from scratch again. And this has had a significant impact on the growth of the economy. So they say the ONS, which is the Office for National Statistics, has said that production output fell by 2% in September. And this was mainly caused by a 28.6% drop in car output following that cyber attack. So nearly a 30% drop in car production in the UK. So, I mean, you know, it goes on and on and on, and there's talks about other businesses and stuff like that. But I just want to focus on that aspect of this, because I think that, you know, considering the level of importance, I mean, you may joke about, oh, does Britain even have a car industry? And okay, technically, you know, the brands that we have, we don't actually own anymore, but we still do. We are endangering them. And we are endangering them because of the draconian policies that are against cars and motorists in this country. And so, for example, we have the ZEV Mandate, which of course requires a percentage of cars sold in the UK to be electric, and we are falling short of that, but it's putting a tremendous amount of pressure on the car manufacturers, because the car companies are like, okay, fine, you know, we understand that you want people to drive electric cars. We've figured out how to make them. We can make them. We are making them. We're putting them in the market, but people are not buying them. People are not buying them because the infrastructure isn't there, because the government hasn't put it in place. So, you know, people won't buy the cars that don't work for their lifestyle, and you can't force feed them those cars. And that's what the industry is really struggling with right now. And the trouble is that seems to be the whole, you know, I mean, when Rishi Sunak was Prime Minister, he'd actually pushed the deadline to 2035, the deadline for stopping the sale of petrol and diesel cars in the UK. So he'd sort of given another 5 years grace, but of course now that's been rolled back to 2030, as Labour said that they would do. Don't forget, by the way, that the 2030 deadline was actually introduced by Rishi Sunak's predecessor, Boris Johnson. So when you talk about, you know, who is really interested in cars, car culture and the car industry, politicians just really don't understand the industry. They really just don't know what they're messing with. And as I've mentioned before, even I put a video up recently about, I don't think it will happen, but there's talk of maybe putting tax on classic cars, road tax, that is, VED. I don't think it'll happen, but there were rumors of it, so I felt it was important to talk about it. But even then, that would be silly, because you'd be endangering the huge pot of money that you make off that industry for the sake of a few pennies from possible people that might tax their classic cars, whereas of course we know that most people will just own them or just tax them for the period that they will use them, which is only over the summer anyway. And this again is, you know, short-sightedness on the part of governments is what stifles economies. They don't think big picture. They don't think about, you know, how do we stimulate the economy rather than penalizing the economy and then wondering why it's collapsing around our ears. So, you know, I think this is a fundamental problem. And it goes back to the fact that the government needs to recognize the importance of cars, car culture, and financially, of course, the car industry. And we're not just talking manufacturing plants, but also all the smaller industries that support that industry, the supply networks, etc., etc. So it's a massive knock-on effect. I'll put some of the figures on screen, that you can see the sort of scale of how much that industry is worth and how many people it employs, etc., etc. So I just hope that the fact that there is this slowdown in the economy, and that part of that is because of a drop of nearly 30% in car production in the UK. Imagine if you kill off these companies entirely, what's going to happen? I hope that this is a bit of a wake-up call. Anyway, that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll keep up to date with the news, and I'll try and bring it to you whenever I can, and keep you informed of what's going on. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Hi guys, if you're enjoying this video, finding it useful, then don't forget to hit that like button and share and comment if you can as well, and support independent journalism channels like mine. You can do that at patreon.com, at coffee.com, or right here on YouTube you can take out a voluntary subscription. Or you know what? You can buy my books. I've got 3 out at the moment. One is a fantastic thriller. It's a novel. It's called The Ulysses Files. Go check it out, about the war on cars. And I've got a collection of short stories. That's called Quantum Races, and that's out at the moment. And then this year I put out How to Be an Automotive Content Creator. It's about how to do what I do, and that's all of these are now available on Amazon. If you buy any of those books, I will be very grateful. If you buy all 3, I'll put you into a draw to win a unique and exclusive set keyring and Brown Car Guy badge. There are only 17 of these left. There were only 20, 3 have gone out. There's just 17 left now, so hurry up with that. Anyway, shout out time, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, if you enjoy my content, why not get involved? Buy me a coffee. You can do that at either of these links, or if you're watching on YouTube, buy me a thanks or take out a membership. It all helps. It really does.